You know, there's still inequities when you take a look at hiring in terms of promotion and being on boards and commissions and so forth. You still see that upward mobility is not there. You see a lot of top Asians in positions, and many times it's because they started their own company and so forth. But then when you start looking at some of those other companies, the mainstream companies and so forth, how many local banks presidents are Asian Americans? You look at the hotels, you know, the hotel managers. You know, there's only one manager downtown that's Asian American out of all those hotels and so forth. And you would think that there would be more opportunities. And if you take a look at the staff at the lower levels, they're mostly Asians. Who's cleaning those rooms? They're Asians. Who's fixing? They're Asians. Who's the waiters? They're Asians. But why aren't they moving up to the top positions? You even see them at the reservations and so forth. I can't go into a hotel and not see that. But I also know that there is only one hotel, local hotel, that has a Asian American general manager and so forth. So you look at things like that and you know that things still need to happen. We're very fortunate in that the University of Washington just hired an Asian American to be its provost and so forth. But as you look across the country, how many Asian Americans have made that leap and have been hired in those positions? And you still see there's very few. You look at the issue of presidents at those community colleges. Seattle Community College made a commitment for us to stop demonstrating that they would hire an Asian American, which they did, to their credit, they did. But you'd look at it now, do they still have an Asian American as a president? You'll see now there are no Asian American presidents of a community college in Washington State or Voc Techs and so forth. And the education arena is where Asian Americans have excelled and so forth. But we still can't get some of the top positions. And we still see, as we look at even leadership positions, there's a stereotype that Asians don't make good leaders. We're good at computers. You know, we're good in restaurants. We're good at owning small businesses, but running larger businesses, there's that stereotype that we don't do a very good job and so forth. So you're still seeing those things, and those are probably the clearest types of things that you'll see out there. I think the issues around voting even is something that we're trying to keep up, and that's something that students can't just take it for granted. You know, a lot of places now are making sure that literature now is translated, but those things didn't come just because someone said we ought to do this. It came because people were pushing for them. And some of those people, if they're not in those positions, it's going to go away. And they won't be doing some of the translations and so forth. And so we know that we need to have the awareness of younger people to understand that these kind of things aren't natural for certain people to put in, because it doesn't affect them directly. And because if these issues affect them directly, they've got to be able to bring up these issues so it continues. But if they want to be able to have that free access and so forth to different programs, they've got to be able to be aware of who they are and how we could expand upon it throughout the community.